Okay, so I recorded this entire video right after the series between Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves. I recorded all the audio, took a break, went upstairs, hung out with my family, came back down to edit it, and I messed up the audio. So it's now much later at night. I'm refilming to re-edit, so this video will not be edited as well as it should be, but I'm gonna try my best to get this out as quick as I can for you. All right, no big speech in the intro past that. 100 Thieves, first team out of the LCS playoffs, going up against the bottom seed Golden Guardians. Let's talk real quick about the overall performances of the team, and then I want to hone in on 100 Thieves. And is it time to wave the flag? Who's to blame for this series, and how far can Golden Guardians go? So this was a best of 5 series, and it went all 5 games. They split the first 2, then 100 Thieves won game 3, and then Golden Guardians won game 4 and 5. Even level until we got out of the early stage and we got into the team fights, and that's where you could see the drastic difference between both these teams. Regardless of who ended up winning the game, it was very apparent that one team was way better at team fighting today than the other. And it's incredibly shocking to me because last week I was talking about 100 Thieves and how well they were at team fighting and getting objectives, but they just didn't show up today. Now granted, they did win the laning phase. Doublelift alone had 10 more kills than his counterpart over in Golden Guardians, Stixxay. He had 29 kills to Stixxay's 19, and Stixxay had 1 more death of the overall series. Doublelift really dominated his lane phase. However, he just didn't show up for team fights. He just wasn't making the right moves. He wasn't staying alive. He kept dying. He kept getting allowed to get jumped on. Now, again, you can't really blame him alone for something like this. However, with this kind of performance, you do look for the older players. You do look for the veterans, the captains, the carries, the leaders to really fix everything that's going wrong, or at least perform better than what they did. It was a consistent theme throughout the whole series that if they won the early game and got a big enough lead, they could then win team fights. But it all depended upon that lead. They consistently won early, but if they didn't have a big enough lead, Golden Guardians would fight them back and come back. There's 2 players on Golden Guardians I want to mention though, and that is of course Stixxay. We talked about his stats earlier and how he didn't really do well in the laning phase, but he sustained long enough for the rest of his team to do well or him to get items and then perform. But I want to also talk about Licorice in the top lane. Now this is the MVP of the series according to the LCS, and you don't really want to take anything away from him. However, his opponent in Tenacity is a rookie. This is his first playoff. This is his first time on the big stage competing in the LCS, and he looked stale. Now I will comment, Tenacity did, in my opinion, have better roams, right? When he would roam around the map, he had a better performance. However, take the game when Golden Guardians let Licorice get Gwen and then Tenacity had Scion. There was really no opportunity for Tenacity to do anything other than just be a top lane sustained player, right? And when you're a rookie, when you're a young player, when you want this experience and you're going into these long 4 or 5 game series, I'd imagine you'd want to build some confidence by let them have a little bit more of an aggressive pick. And that to me is the biggest underlying problem with 100 Thieves, not only in the playoffs, but I talked about this several weeks ago, the entire split. And that is that 100 Thieves is just a stale team, right? I saw a video last week of Doublelift talking about how you can't target ban him because he's been around for so long and he knows all these different metas and he knows who to play and he can play anybody really well regardless of who's hot or cold right now in the meta. However, throughout this entire playoffs, not just this series against Golden Guardians, the entire playoffs, including the 3 games they played against FlyQuest, Doublelift only played 2 champions, Zeri and Jinx, and he only played Zeri twice. That means all the other games he played Jinx, and I don't understand why there was no green light to play someone different. Try something different. When you're going, you know, let alone in a FlyQuest series, when you're about to get swept, why not play someone different? When you're in a game like this, a best of 5, and you hit that 4-5 mark, or you have a game point on 4, I don't know why they don't throw out a different meta pick, a different pick. They play very stale. They just play who's the meta, they just play who's the best right now, and they try to hope to do well. I touted them last week for doing really well, and I expected them to go far. They were my dark horse in the entire playoffs, and now they're gone. They're just done till summer, and I don't know what to think about that. I really don't know. I'll be excited to know what you guys think down in the comments. Who do you think is to blame here? Can you really blame Tenacity for like not showing up at all? Or do you cut him some slack because he's a rookie and they never really allowed him to play anybody outside of these big brute tank frontline for team fights? Or do you blame the veteranship? Do you blame Doublelift? Do you blame Bjornsson? Do you blame these guys who came out of retirement to come play in this league? The guys who said they would only come back to league if they could compete at Worlds, and now they can't even compete in the LCS? Who do you blame for this? Comment down and let me know in the comments. But one last thing I want to mention real quick is, what do I think about 100 Thieves' future? Should they panic? And in short, no, they shouldn't. They have a rookie top laner. They have 2 all-time great LCS players. They're going to figure it out. They're going to get it together. Did I pile on them a little too much? Yes. Did they underperform? Also, yes. Did they have a really bad start to the split and then they really picked up steam and they were looking really good, and then they kind of leveled back to maybe the little bit of an even? You think about it, that's kind of how a lot of sports teams work. They have valleys up and down, and then they kind of split it and make the even. They had a really bad start. They had a really good middle and finish. You put it together. When it comes the next time, you're going to even that out and maybe not be as bad as you were at the start, but not be as good as you were at the end. Point is, don't panic, relax, get some reps in, get some practice, build more team morale, build new strategies. For the love of God, get a bigger champion pool, and then we'll see how they can perform in summer. One last thing. I know I said that was my last thing, but this is my last thing. Golden Guardians, they're going to compete against CLG or EG, whoever wins that. And to me, it's a real simple answer. If Evil Geniuses win and beat CLG, I think Golden Guardians could beat Evil Geniuses. If CLG beats Evil Geniuses, I think CLG will beat Golden Guardians. CLG looks really good right now. That's really it for now. I just wanted to cover 100 Thieves, so they were the first team to leave tonight and they're done in the playoffs. We'll have a full breakdown after tomorrow's matchup of Evil Geniuses versus CLG, and we'll talk about the overall standings and how I thought of how all the other teams did. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow. All you know that everyone says that. I'll see you guys later.